The benefits of using data in the classroom are huge. It keeps me on track as a teacher, knowing what I need to teach, what I need to spend more time on, what I need to spend less time on, which children really understood what I was teaching and which children didn't, whether they're retaining information or not.
We can't have our 1,000 school districts collecting different types of data. We can't have them using a different set of instruments to collect the data. We need to make sure that we have that uniformity, and then we need to make sure that it can be transferred from school district to school district. Some of our students will transfer districts a couple, 3, 4, 5, half dozen times a year. Many of our districts then would not be able to communicate with one another in terms of that student's progress, the records, the unique and special needs that that student's going to have.
It's a problem for California not to have the data that it needs to understand the problems that our schools and our children and our teachers face, because without the data you won't get the right diagnosis.
I had a situation this last week where the student's been in the state for 3.5 years, has yet to have a CELT score attached to his proficiency level, and yet we're making very high stakes decisions about this student without the appropriate data. So the transiency, if you were, the mobility factor of data, being able to follow a student so that the system can continue to support that particular student and their achievement levels, and especially when there's such a great lag time. And I don't think people really understand that we can have anywhere from 2 weeks to 6 months that we have no data on a student.
We're also missing just a culture of data use in California, so that there isn't a sense that when I'm doing something, I want to then look and see whether or not it works. Certainly that's in many districts and it's in many classrooms, but there are also many districts and classrooms, and really the state in California, where that kind of idea of using information to help us make decisions is missing.
I've had about a 15 to 20% CST growth as the year has gone on. And, you know, over the last 2 years, it's gone up about 20% from where I was just 2 years ago.
A lot of the students are learning to be able to see their data from 2 years ago or last month and connect, you know, the results to the present and see now at this point, let's go and talk about your goals. So we're taking patterns and then making new goals for the upcoming assessment.
I've had students who, after seeing their test scores or seeing a specific area they struggled in, and you're calling a small group to teach with, and they'll say, oh, I know I need help with that. Can I go up to the table too? And, you know, and that's growth for students to be able to look at themselves and say, I need help because I've seen it on this paper or this printout you gave me, instead of just, oh, I don't understand.
Before we talked about my class, your class, his class, and we were almost data phobic. We didn't want anyone to really know how our students were doing, what growth or not growth, what, you know, had been made, into a sense of ownership, vertical ownership as well, but grade level ownership of these are our students. And so if we really are trying to help our students, we need to see how they are all doing. And it led to a very natural progression of then almost experiencing the strengths and weaknesses of our teachers.
We're talking about data a lot, and so it's also building more collegiality where teachers are speaking to each other about different trends that they see in the data, different successes, different challenges. And then we're coming back to the instructional strategies that the teacher is actually using to deliver the curriculum in the classroom.
There's no question in my mind that a student data system, once implemented, will significantly better prepare our students for their future. It will, in fact, improve student achievement. We'll be able to make fundamental decisions, both at the state level and at the local level.
Difficult to give a picture of a kid based on a multiple choice test. I find that for them to show me they understand certain subjects or topics, that their writing is much more effective, much more authentic. And there's no way for them to show their depth of knowledge, their excitement about any subject based on a standardized test.
The students' education would be vastly improved if we were to include art, music, science, and social studies, and the teachers were allowed the autonomy to include those areas, because it's not just all about reading and math. They're just really being shortchanged at this point.
We care about children. And so when we say it's not about the numbers, it's really not about receiving a report, having it be a final grade, you know, that 17% of our kids are below basic, or a final grade in a report card, that it really is information that speaks to us about our students to guide our decisions. The use of data, not as a final product, but to guide instruction, gives the teacher the information they need to make good, sound teaching decisions, and it gives administrators good information on how to support the teachers. So it's not a mystery. It's not a mystery what the child needs, it's not a mystery what the teacher needs, and it's not a mystery what the administrator needs to provide for both.
Data is not a number. It really, used well, it is a child's voice telling us what they know, what they don't know, and giving us indications of what are those things we need to provide to make sure that they are reaching those markers that are going to be necessary to take the next step. We want to be able to assure every student that is in our system that when they leave high school, they have the keys to go on to four-year colleges and universities or skilled careers, so that their futures will be as bright as the futures we want for our own children.